Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q3 FY2023 earnings conference call of IRCTC, hosted by Dolat Capital. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference,
EBITDA grew at 7% quarter-over-quarter, and EBITDA margin came to at 35.5% versus 37.8% in the second quarter of 23. This is mostly due to the increase in the share of our catering in the revenue from the operations, which I shall be deliberating in the catering section. As I have shared earlier, with the headwinds of the pandemic behind, and hopefully the travel and hospitality industry is now looking forward for a much better financial year 23 and beyond. IRCTC's business segments can also look up to further improve performance in this in the changed industry environment. Let me now move to the business segments of the company. First is the internet ticketing segment, which continued to demonstrate its resilience, and revenue for the quarter was nearly 300 crores and largely unchanged quarter-over-quarter. Despite the decline in the 2S reserved ticket booking, the year-over-year decline was just 3.8% on year-over-year basis. The segment has shown its resilience yet again as regards the profitability is concerned, with quarter 3 results and EBIT margins now coming at 84.2% versus unchanged over quarter-over-quarter basis and 84.8% on year-over-year basis. If we discuss about the catering segment, after slight quarter-over-quarter decline in the second quarter of this financial year, we got back to the quarter-over-quarter growth, and revenue from this segment has come to rupees 394 crore lower, implying the growth of a 17.9% quarter over quarter through, though on year basis it grew at a rate of a 2.8%. Also, the revenue for the catering segment is well ahead of our quarterly run rate in pre-COVID. EBIT margin for the segment came to 10.7% versus 10.6% on quarter over quarter and 5.5% on year-over-year basis. Really, our packaged drinking water segment has seen the third quarter of this financial year revenue coming at rupees 75.1 crore, which implies a growth of a 4.3% on quarter over quarter basis, and year over basis growth is nearly 50%. That was a COVID impacted year. EBIT margin from this segment saw a good improvement this year to 11.8% versus 7.5% quarter over quarter basis and 10.1% on year over year basis. Tourism segment. In this quarter 3 of this financial year, the revenue share came to around rupees 147.8 crore, which implies a growth of 49% on quarter over quarter basis and a strong growth of more than 100% on year over year basis. Importantly, the segment EBIT margins saw a sharp turnaround to green at 10.8%. Versus a loss of 5.5% on quarter over quarter basis and 10.1% on year basis. That is after pandemic. For quarter 3 of this financial year, the net worth and the cash and the bank balances of the company remains at 2494 crore and 2133 crore respectively at the end of this quarter. So that brings me to end of my opening remarks, where I have given you a brief highlight of the financial figures. Now move to the question answer session, please. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone.
Your voice is little low.
I'll repeat. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. We have our first question from the line of Deep Shah from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Thanks for the opportunity. Ma'am, wanted to understand a bit more on the catering segment. What is making these margins remain flat despite having record numbers, and how should we think about the margin trajectory or the pricing power that we have? That would be my first question. Yes, ma'am.
See, in catering we have 3 segments. One is the mobile segment, another is the static segment, and another is the e-catering segment. In the mobile segment, we carry 2 types of trains. One is the RSG trains, that is Rajdhani, Shatabdi, Durando, Vande Bharat, Gatiman, etc. They fall in one category. These are the prepaid trains. And in these prepaid trains, our margins are very, very less. We only get the turnover, less of the profit margins. That is why you will find, and you might have noticed that lot many trains are being inaugurated on the prepaid format now. So you are getting more of a turnover but less of the profit margins, because entire revenue which is our margins are not are nearly I think nearly only 10% in the catering. That gives the overall momentum, brings the overall momentum to the catering business is nearly around 11 to 12% only if we add income from the other resources.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, as a follow-up to this, could you give some update on this new initiative in catering that we had launched about having third-party providers deliver meals to the seats? I think that was with a much better margin, maybe 12% directly to us without any OPEX. Could you give some update on that? How has that been shaping up?
I would like to correct you, DG, that the margins in the e-catering segments are 15%, not the 12% one. And this business is growing at a rapid pace. In the third quarter, we have nearly achieved on an average of 40,000 meals a day as compared to our pre-COVID level. Also, we have surpassed all the pre-COVID levels also. Number of stations have gone up from 310 to 337. Vendors have also gone up. Aggregators have also been added. Number of the food aggregators with the vendors have also gone up. We have also tied up with our B2C agents, that is MMT, Zigo, Paytm, GoIbibo, Relofy, etc. All this has contributed. Very recently, we have launched our first phase with the WhatsApp booking, which is going to contribute further. As social media has become now a base, a very important base for rendering the online businesses. So we have taken a lead, and the first time we started working with the WhatsApp and brought in the catering segment so that our margin in this segment can improve.
Right, ma'am. This is very helpful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to participants to press star and 1 to ask a question. We have our next question from the line of Jinesh Joshi from Prabhudas Lilladher. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I have a question on the catering segment. If I remember correctly, in the last quarter, our TSC and pantry car reach was roughly with 715 and 450 trains respectively, and you had also highlighted that a tender for some 200 trains was in pipeline. So what is the progress here in terms of tendering and any plans to expand our pantry car reach as such? And also as a follow-up, I think post the tariff hike which has happened in the catering segment, the consumer had an option to opt out of the meal. And there has been a considerable time since we have taken the price hike. So what kind of trend are we seeing over here? Is the opt-out rate higher or lower?
First I'll be answering your first question, Dinesh. That is how many, if there is improvement in the number of our trains, yes, tendering process has gone further. Not only the new trains, 10 trains which have been added recently in the Vande Bharat series, we have been able to award all the contracts. But in all the trains where the pantry cars are there, all those train contracts have been awarded. Now we would be going ahead with we have also gone ahead far ahead in the TSV direction also, where the pantry cars are also not there. In that segment, we have already awarded nearly 750 ducks. And out of that, most of the trains have commissioned their business. 84 LOA have been awarded, but the commencement has to take place because they have to deposit the security, etc. So you can say total train segment in the train 836, and trains with the 452. When last time in the last quarter the train number was 440. Now this is 452. The trains with the pantry car, and the trains where the pantry car is not there, that is around 752. This makes the total number nearly 1200 for these trains. Any train which is offered to IRCTC is awarded immediately because every train is a revenue with or without pantry car. Then answer to your second question, that opt-out, third question, that was your third question. Second question was about the sales assessment. Sales assessment exercise has been completed. It is being consolidated because the impact is very varied in one zone. In one zone in the peak season, no impact has been seen, while in the other zone, some impact has been seen. So some consolidation, and we are getting that audit done. Then we would be raising the invoice if required, depending upon the thing. Because peak period we have completed, and now the non-peak period is also almost done in the various trains. So we are consolidating, and maybe in the last quarter, when we are concluding our financial results, we'll be giving you the entire information. Then the opt-out percentage. The opt-out percentage varies from train to train. This opt-out percentage earlier was 10. Then it rose to 20. Now in few trains it is 20 and few trains it is still less. It all depends on the service level. When the service level in the train is good, then the percentage becomes less. But when the people look for more variety and the distances are long, people may opt. But if the e-catering option and route is not available, so our effort is to convert this opt-out percentage to the e-catering. That is what we are doing. Because WhatsApp is available, that is why we have gone for the WhatsApp kind of a booking also, so that we are in position to garner the lost revenue which has gone out of our hands because of the opting out.
Sure, madam. My second question is with respect to the privatization opportunity that called for running some 150 trains on 100 routes which were identified. So is there any fresh update on that? I thought of asking this question because currently a lot of Vande Bharat stock is being rolled out, and just wanted to get a sense if this could lead to any further delay in that privatization plan.
The privatization was going to happen at the railways end. Railway at that time had decided, then we had participated also, but we had almost won the tender, but the award was not concluded because the participation was low. After that, there is no bid floating or no tender document has been floated, so I may not be in position to comment upon that. In case railway decides to float the tender, IRCTC is in readiness and our analysis may have to be updated a bit in the current scenario because many new trains are coming up, but catering for those trains is coming to IRCTC only, so we are gaining from those trains also.
Sure, madam. One last bookkeeping question. What was the convenience revenue and number of tickets booked for the quarter?
The number of ticket books, surprisingly, we were earlier anticipating that with the going away with the 2S category, our overall booking will go down, but it is nearly the same. Our average booking in the year 2021 was 11.45 lakh tickets a day. Now it is average booking of the last 3 quarters has been 11.89 tickets a day. It is nearly same. Though in the first quarter it was little more, then the second quarter it went down, third quarter it went down. So some impact of the second day has been there. And our convenience fee has contributed nearly 67% of the revenue in the internet ticketing segment, and non-convenience fee resources have contributed to 33%. If you ask me the quarter, total revenue of the 9 months in the internet ticketing, from convenience fee it was 6.4 crore, and from non-convenience fee it has been 307 crore. Putting together, the total revenue from this segment has been 911, and the profitability margin in the internet ticket segment has contributed at the same rate. Highest EBIT margins have been seen in this. And I think your last question was, can you please repeat, sir?
The number of tickets booked, you gave us the average number for the first 9 months, but if you can just give me absolute quantum for this quarter.
The Q3 segment is 11.3 lakhs tickets a day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have our next question from the line of Shivam Kumar, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity, ma'am. My question is regarding tourism sector, that its margin is around 9%. Where do you see the future margin?
Yes, you might have noticed that IRCTC has launched a Bharat Gaurav series. So in that series, we have already taken 8 rakes, 2 rakes we had already with us, so that gives the total inventory of a 10 rakes. These are the theme-based rakes which are going to be designed specially, because earlier when we used to launch a route, at time we had difficulty in getting the rolling stock. So now we are in readiness and we have a tourism a rolling stock which is customized to the tourist needs. So each rake can run as a minimum, it can run up to 240 days minimum. Maximum it can go up to 300 days also in a year. So if you normally, when we were doing Bharat Darshan and other trains, put together we were not running more than 150 trains in a year. With these rakes we would be running more than 300 trains in a year, rather more. We would be adding more. Many new circuits we are going to launch. We have already experimented few, and you will find the new circuits in the pipeline. So that is going to give you an additional revenue of nearly 200 crore if everything goes right in the tourism sector and nothing adverse happens, because hospitality is very sensitive sector and tourism is the worst affected. Anyway, your booking goes down. If everything goes right, then tourism has a bright future. Not only the total revenue in this segment is going to rise, but the margins are also going to improve.
My second question is regarding rail needs. Any plan of increasing the price of bottle as when it was last revised also?
We have found some increase in the production cost of the rail neer because of the increase on the PET cost. That is the preform cost has gone up. So we are examining this. We are not yet sure how it is going to take forward. We are trying to make up with the increased volumes. Our Bhusawal plant is ready. Anytime it can be commissioned. Simadri is also ready. Anytime it can be commissioned. Final bottle, all licensing, petty licensing work is pending. We had thought of launching both of them in the month of January, but somehow some licensing work is still pending. So we would be trying to complete within this month, or by March we would be launching both. So we would be gaining by increasing the production. But the increase in the pricing, yes, we are working on it. We are still examining. We'll let you know very soon.
And my last question is regarding the overall margin. Where do you see it stabilizing in FY24, as it is consequently declining since last 7 quarters?
Last quarter, in one quarter, we are contributing nearly, if you see the past quarter, the total revenue, and each quarter is giving nearly 850. In the first quarter of this financial year, we had the revenue from the operations, revenue from the all resources have been nearly 852. In the second quarter, it was 805. In the third quarter, it is 948. Of course, this includes the taxation, this includes the interest part of it also. So the next quarter is also going to be the same, because the number of our trains is going to increase only. And our business profile is going to change, because our contribution from the catering segment in the revenue portion is going to be higher than the internet ticketing. If you ask me percentage contribution, the percentage contribution of the catering is going to increase and going to be nearly the pre-COVID levels. At that time, the catering was contributing nearly 45% of the revenue. And that revenue has a low EBIT margin as compared to internet ticketing. So overall, we may not be impacted when things are very good and very rosy. But our revenue pattern will change, our profitability pattern will change, but overall we will be a gainer. It looks good so far.
Ma'am, pre-COVID margin was 37%, but it has come down now at 35% also.
Because catering has a catering business and the internet ticketing business cannot be compared. That expenditure, the internet ticketing has less of an expenditure, and catering has a little more expenditure. You have to do monitoring, you have to provide all the kind of services. Manpower cost is also involved. So margin in that segment is nearly 12% only, 11 to 12%. And there it was 82%. If revenue in that segment will rise, so certainly overall impact will not be there, but the margin will be partially affected. But overall gain in the quantum will be there. That is what I said.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. We have our next question from the line of Dhaval Doshi from IDBI Capital. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, ma'am. So I just have this one question on depreciation. If we look at it on a QOQ perspective, it has reduced significantly. So just wanted to understand the reason behind it.
This was because we have done some provisioning. We had to do provisioning on advice of our auditors and accounting team. Excess provisioning for the depreciation had to be done.
And this provisioning was with respect to?
Third quarter we have reversed excess provisioning.
Okay. Some excess provisioning was done in the previous quarter that had to be reversed in the third quarter. So that is why it has changed.
Fourth quarter will be.
Fourth quarter will be okay.
Okay. And second question, so in the notes in the financials, we have mentioned that there is an increase in the catering tariff for the post and prepaid trains. So if you could just give us some color as to when do we expect this to be received, and what is the quantum of this?
Sales assessment is an exercise which has been completed. We are concluding the results. So maybe in the next quarter you will get all the results. It is a very big exercise. We have to do every train wise and all the meals. Most of the trains that we have completed, and we are going to publish the results soon. And the impact on the revenue also and the license fee.
Okay, thank you. That's it from mine.
Thank you. We have our next question from the line of Rahul Jain from Dolat Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. My question pertains to the tourism business. Can you share where this growth has largely coming from? Is it the tour package side where we have seen it? And do we expect this similar momentum in Q4 and more so in the holiday season in Q1?
It is going to be more, Rahul, because one is the pandemic impact is over, right? Secondly, we have taken a peak of the trains, which is again going to contribute in the next financial year, because most of the trains will be put into operation either in the March end or the first week of April or second week of April. So next year is going to be very good for the tourism. We got the increase in the revenue in this quarter has been because election trains went up. Many tourist trains we ran. We also ran the state Tirath train. And we did well in the air packages also. And even in the luxury segment also we have done very, very well. So Bharat Gaurav is a new fleet that we are adding to. And that fleet we have taken 10 rakes. Earlier we were running only 100 to 150 trains in a year. Now we would be running nearly 300 trains. So you can see the impact that our revenue in this segment is going to be to achieve a different height.
And you said 300 train now versus what was the previous number?
150 only. We are going to double our train. Mass tourism is going to double.
Okay. And for Tejas, if you could share the operating metrics in terms of the revenues and profits of the Tejas during the quarter.
Tejas has done very well in this quarter because the festival season was also there and continue to do well. The overall revenue from the Tejas in this financial year, that is total of 3 quarters, comes out to be 115 CR and expenses have been nearly 98.61. So the overall contribution of the Tejas is nearly 17.06 CR to the revenue.
Sure. And on the rail neer side, can you share the number of bottle produced during this quarter and previous quarter? And what we could do here to drive the business, given that at the time of IPO we said we are just doing 40-45% of the total demand, and now we have the capacity, but yes, the growth has happened, but where it could go once we improve the distribution of the current output that we have across regions.
The railway production, all plants utilization was running fine. The much better than just after pandemic. In fact, if you see the capacity utilization of all the plants, average is nearly 75%. And in spite of the fact that December, January, we have a less of a demand. Now in the January also we are running the plants at a capacity of nearly 70%, which used to be now 30%. We are storing the water to meet the requirement of the summers also. We can store the water up to 6 months. All water will go by March. If you ask me the total production that we have done, it is near 24 CR bottles we have produced so far in this financial year. So we have done well in the railway segment. Because of the increase in the production cost, because of the pre-formed rates, the margins have reduced, have been affected adversely in the railway segment. but we are still examining it. Now they have reduced in this quarter. Now the preformed prices have reduced in this quarter. So we will see the impact, and the margins in this segment will also improve. The new plants are ready, Rahulji. The plants will be ready. Two of them will be commissioned within this financial year. We are waiting for one more license for both of them. So once they are ready, we are going to commission that.
Sure. And lastly, on the ticketing business, if you could give more input in terms of UPI mix right now and AC, non-AC mix, and any further breakup on the non-convenience part of the business.
Yeah, certainly. In internet ticketing, the average booking has been nearly 11.89 tickets a day, and our revenue in this segment is 600 crores. This is more or less same, but the pattern in all the 3 quarters has been nearly same. That is 200 CR from the internet ticketing. In spite of the fact that the 2S is not there, it has been the same. And our revenue, the non-convenience revenue sources has increased a bit. Whatever we have lost in the second day, that is being compensated by the non-convenience fee resources. As I mentioned in my earlier con call, that we are going to increase that revenue to the maximum, to the extent possible. And in the next 2 years, we'll have to bring this percentage, which is now 33% of the total internet ticketing revenue, to nearly 50%. Because 82% of the ticketing you have already got it, and some increase you can anticipate, of course, because internet percolation is still happening in the country. So we need to focus our resources on the non-convenience fee. That is one part of it. Then how many transactions are happening? What is the share of the UPI? It is nearly 32%. UPI is happening 32%. And second is booking is nearly the same in last 5 months. That is ranging between 12 to 13%. And your sleeper class is contributing the maximum. As of now, it is nearly, I think, 44%, followed by third AC, which is 26.8%, and nearly 13% is your second AC, and second AC is 6%. Like that, the rest all is very meager. So, and the trains which we are operating is nearly 3,500, where we are providing the booking.
Sure, that's it from my side. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. We have our next question from the line of Rohit Bahirwani from Vijit Global Securities. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. My question is, we had applied for a license of payment aggregator with RBI payment. What is the status on that?
That is still being done. We have received some observations. So we'll let you know soon about this. But our revenue from the payment gateway as a PG, it has gone up. And if you see that, let me give you the exact figure. Total revenue from the iPay has been the net revenue to IRCTC earning has been nearly, I think, 11.5 CR in the last 3 months. And our total revenue from which is contributing to the revenue also of the company has also gone up by a good number of margins. But till the time we were planning to go for an aggregator, we had applied, we have received certain observations. Maybe we may have to do some changes in the company itself to get that license, else our entire business will be impacted.
So any dates on that, by when we can expect that to be completed?
We don't know. We are applying to the third agency and people take 1 year to get it. So we have just started, in fact, after we got the changes. We have received certain observation, may have to do certain changes. However, this, in the first quarter, iPay contributed to 16 CR in the first quarter, second quarter 15. In the third quarter, it was nearly 20 CR. So total contribution to the revenue has been nearly 51 CR. So by the end of this year, it may be nearly 80. And the net profitability margin will be 12 CR. तो अभी हो ही चुका है, उसके ऊपर ही होगा जो होगा.
Okay.
We have to be satisfied with the PG revenue till the time we get the license.
Okay. Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you. We'll take a question from the line of Pugaz Manoharan, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity, madam. Madam, in the social media and in all the TVs, right, what we are hearing is the people are moving out left and right, right? So I was just want to check on the other streams that we have. Flights, madam, I see all the flights are booked and the rates are huge. So how are we doing in ticket booking and also hotels, madam? How much revenue does it contribute to our ticketing with respect to hotels and flights?
So far, put together in all the 3 quarters, we have been able to we have done booking of 100 crore के आसपास, and segments that we have booked is nearly I think 14 lakhs or so. So bookings have gone up as compared. We have achieved the pre-COVID levels, but the overall revenue and the corporate ticketing also we have done well. If you ask me the net margins left with IRCTC, it is nearly I think 14 CR के आसपास. 14 CR is the margins left with IRCTC. Although we have also increased our fees in this segment, we have now achieved the 8 level, but the pricing is very high, and let's hope for the good. But our booking in this segment is now on the incremental side.
So with respect to competition, madam, say for example, just throwing a name, right? Redbus in case of bus bookings or East My Trip in case of flights, right? How competitive we are? Are we the least pricing, or we are at par with them, or how are we placed there, madam, in terms of competition?
That may not be an appropriate comparison, I must say, because they are not into the rail-based tourism. They are only in the train booking. We do mass tourism also. If you ask me the OTA's work, OTA has 4 types of work. One is the rail booking, another is the air booking, then is the bus booking, and then is the other cab, etc. booking, and the 5th is the tour packages. So as far as the tour segments are concerned, we are there in all the segments. Bus inventory, it is not my own inventory. If you ask Make My Trip, they own Red Bus. If you ask take confirm tickets, they have their own fleet of buses. What we do, we have tied up in the case of a bus booking, we have tied up with the various state governments. We have tied with the Abhi bus. We have tied up with your Red Bus also. We are getting inventory through them only. But we have done well in the bus, and nearly our net margins without much effort and providing the last mile connectivity has been 1.1 CR के आसपास we have earned, and total revenue that we contributed was nearly I think 42.64 4.26 CR in the from October to in the last quarter. So comparing myself with the MMT and that segment, the kind of a promotion they do, if I start spending that much expenditure, I may also get it. I think my balance sheet is not right. I will not comment on others.
Okay. Madam, is it last question, madam. So is it anything that we can evaluate this through a market share, say, outflow bookings, right, on the flights or whatever, right, in any streams that we have? Is that our market share is increasing that way, you can say, or that is also a wrong assumption or wrong comparison?
It is very different. Not a very, I must say, apple cannot be compared with oranges. We are going in a wrong direction. Every OTA has its own strength. Like MMT has a strength in the air, while the other Yatra has a strength in the hotel. So I have a strength in mass tourism. So that where I have a strength, where I am more functionally capable, so we have started focusing in that in the mass tourism, and we are bringing more and more trains, and we are trying to get nearly 250 CRs from that segment from the train movement. Air booking is kind of, we are a OTA, we provide, we need to grow, I don't disagree with that, but at the same time we have to see that all aspects are looked into. And so far we have a tie-up, we are also going to revise our tender conditions and see what best we can do in this direction. But focusing only on the bus and air may not be appropriate, because we are a mass tourism leader, we have to see the masses first.
Okay, sounds good, madam. And the last question, catering, madam. We said actually before we are speaking to one of the food aggregators, right? We have our own food aggregator things that we are planning, right? Is that anything finalized or any updates there, madam?
Yes, we are still working on that. We have started tying up with many of the B2C partners. Gradually, we are opening one by one. And our lead is increasing. We are increasing the number of stations, the number of bookings. And impact is also seen. We have recently opened the booking along with the WhatsApp. That is only as of now one-way communication. Within 15 days, a two-way communication will also going to happen. So, we are taking all steps so that our booking in this form gets increased.
Okay. All the best, madam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a last question from the line of Shivam Kumar, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Ma'am, my question is regarding the last quarter occupancy of IRCTC tour packages.
Last quarter occupancy of tour packages.
Yes, ma'am.
It has been good. That is why the revenue has been good.
Ma'am, how much occupancy? Suppose we have tour package for 100 people.
In air, we make a tour package of not more than 40, otherwise the rates of the air will increase. So generally we are able to sell all the inventory. And our rail tour package, for example, from Mumbai is doing excellent. Western Devi package is also doing excellent. Few packages do very good. Few packages where we don't get good response, we don't lose anything in that.
Okay, ma'am.
At times you are not able to sell all the inventory, sir. There are days when the days are bad and the market is not conducive, you are not able to sell the entire inventory. But we don't lose in the rail tour packages. The money gets revolved in the circuit. We release the berth 3 days ahead so that the berths are released to the common public.
Mr. Kumar?
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. I would now like to hand over the call to the management for closing comments. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, all the investors. You might have noticed that we have also declared a dividend, which is so for the highest dividend, interim dividend declared by IRCTC, that is rupees 3.8 per share, and it is nearly 175% of the share capital. Hope that will bestow your confidence in IRCTC. The company has just come out of the COVID. Things in the tourism are getting improved. Our business lines are showing certain modulation. So is our earning pattern. But let me assure you on behalf of this company that the company continues to be a very good option to invest with, and the returns on this company are improving. And we are going to contribute. We are looking forward for a better Q4 and the entire financial year ahead. Wishing you all the best and requesting all of you to bestow your confidence in IRCTC as you have been doing in the past. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On behalf of Dolat Capital, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.
The conference is no longer being recorded.